Hello and welcome to my channel.
He may have been a little odd or a little off, but like other than that, you'd never expect someone to be allegedly part of a quadruple homicide ever.
And when Kohberger transitioned from undergraduate to graduate student at DeSales, he also switched from a major in psychology to a focus on criminal justice. While he had no official criminal record during his time as an undergrad and grad student, according to multiple reports, Kohberger would spend a lot of time at a bar called the Seven Sirens Brewing Company. According to interviews, he made multiple women uncomfortable to a point where a record of his interactions were kept, as his odd behavior was a concern to the staff. Now, being the creepy guy in a bar doesn't make him a killer, but the evidence that has come out was enough to change his former lab.
Great, but all the signs point to that he did. Unless this guy was miraculously set up, which is like a 1 in a billion chance, no one cares enough about Bryan Kohberger to set him up.
In fact, Ferraro goes on to say that he played a role in Kohberger's actions.
The course that I took that stands out is psychological sleuthing, where you basically enter the mind of a killer. She would give you sheets, and basically the sheets would denote and detail a crime. However, you wouldn't know who did what per se or where this was, but you'd have to, it was a group thing, so you'd get partnered up or in groups, and you would go through these activities and basically come up with a theory or a thesis.
And DeSales is known for its criminology studies.
They have an entire house, they call it the crime scene house, that is used for simulations for crime scene investigation or collecting evidence or crime scene photography or responding to other emergencies.
But on top of all of that, Bryan Kohberger's criminal mind didn't end at DeSales. Just months later, he'd moved cross-country and began his PhD studies at Washington State University. He'd even receive an appointment as a teaching assistant during the fall, the 2022 semester, but he reportedly be fired from that job over, quote, behavioral problems and having a sexist attitude towards women. His background, what surprised you most?
I think the most interesting thing about Bryan Kohberger is that he flew under the radar. So a lot of the people that I spoke with said that when they first heard the name Bryan Kohberger, when he was named a suspect in these murders, they thought, that name's kind of familiar to me, but who is that? How do I know him? Kohberger didn't really make a big mark on a lot of people when they had to go back into their memories from years ago and think, oh, I knew that guy. What they were thinking is that he was kind of odd. He was kind of off. He kept to himself. A lot of people told me that he was a loner throughout his entire collegiate studies. So that's something that's really interesting now that we're learning more about him.
So he